pull up the easy chair and get out the snack tray. Since we're taking prisoners, they eat when we tell them to. The NFL on Fox. The Vikes hope to be giant killers today in Jersey. Minnesota's 4-0 thanks to the locksmith. But it's the fourth quarter where the Purple Boys make you pay. Meanwhile, the Giants are on a roll, because even just one is more fun than none. Today in Tampa Town, the Lions will try to tangle up the helpless Bucks. If Mitchell airs it, Morton snares it, while Barry keeps roaring. It's an animal house as the Panthers and Jags party hardy. Carolina's ready to play with the big boys, and Lamar is showing he's all business, while Jacksonville's got the league's top gun in yards. The Saints and Ravens battle in Baltimore. For New Orleans, Haywood and Haynes are happening and hot. Baltimore needs Vinny T to rave on. The Rams and Cards rumble in the desert. In St. Louis, they're banking on Tony to set Brucey loose. Arizona says LaShawn will rush on and on. The Cheese Boys look to get back on track against the Seahawks. If Brett can find his man, Brooks will find the stands. And the Packers D looks to commission Commander Warren out to sea. The Falcons fly west to take on the Niners. George will be perched on the bench while the Niners resurrect Elvis, baby, cure their blues. So Jailhouse Jerry can rock the end zone. Now, live from the Fox Television Center in Hollywood. Four guys with no sunglasses, but plenty of talent anyway. It's the one and only Fox NFL Sunday.
Week number 5 in the NFL, and it's time to start believing anything is possible. A second-year expansion team is undefeated and atop its division. The defending Super Bowl champs are reeling and at the bottom of their division, and a 39-year-old quarterback and his team are 4-0. Folks, it's all true, and it's all coming your way right here on Fox. And hello, everyone. I'm James Brown, welcoming you to another edition of Fox NFL Sunday. We thank you for sharing your day with us, along with my colleagues, Terry, Howie, and Ronnie. Hey, you were 3-0 last week. Ronnie was 1-1. But no one had a week as good as Big Boy here on set in Vancouver.
Yeah, they had me swinging in on a crane, parachuting into the trees, rode a motorcycle across a log, knocked a guy with an axe handle, kicked another guy, and rescued the girl.
Oh. Well, what a great life you have. We don't do movies. We have to work for a living, don't we, Ron?
Jealousy rears its ugly head once again.
As much as he loves you, he had the nerve to ask you, did you have any lines this week?
Yeah.
All right, folks. Hit him! Here's a look at what's happening around the National Football League. And what's happening is the suspension of Atlanta Falcons starting quarterback Jeff George. Now, as most of you know, this argument on the sidelines last week went on for at least 6 minutes, and it was the catalyst for George's suspension. Now, the argument stemmed from George being pulled from the game after throwing an interception on a deflected pass.
Did he apologize?
I really don't want to comment on that right now.
You know, I'm trying to find out what you're feeling. You know, either, you know.
I'm hurt.
Yeah, I know you're hurt.
The hardest thing for me to take is that I won't be playing on Sundays.
Have you ever sat down, Jeff, and looked in a mirror and said, there's a pattern here to my life that I'm responsible for, and it's a negative pattern?
I see myself as a winner. You know, I never look at myself in the mirror and say, what if I did this?
Coach, do you feel like you're going to be fired because of all of this?
No. You know, if I do, you know, one thing about me, I don't worry about those things. I mean, I really don't worry about that. I do my job. I'm honest with the players. I know when I lose the players, then it's time for me to move on.
I will do whatever it takes to get on a team and play football on Sundays again. That's all I want. We
went to the playoffs last year. We are got a lot of good things going on, and we're doing a lot of the right things here for the first time. And those things will pay off as we survive this adverse situation.
And Jeff George is not going to be a part of it?
I would say right now, it doesn't look like he will.
Well, I was there. I sat down with both of them. Two things are real clear. Number one, Jeff George truly is hurt. June Jones truly is hurt. Jeff George feels as he has been betrayed by his head coach, thinking that management or the ownership has demanded Bobby Hebert to play. The point is, why the outburst for 5 to 6 minutes? It's because when you have felt a friend has betrayed you, the pain is much greater than just a quarterback head coach controversy.
Folks, time now for our Fox Watch, and for that we begin at the Meadowlands. The Minnesota Vikings looking to extend their perfect record today against the New York Giants. Our own Dick Stockton will be calling the action from the Meadowlands, and he's with us now. Good morning, Dick.
And good morning to you, JB. The Vikings with the best record in the NFC. No one figured this, and when you look at their defensive unit, Tony Dungy, the coordinator, gone to Tampa Bay. They lost Ed McDaniel, their outstanding linebacker, yet the defense has been one of the big reasons they're 4-0. Yes, a big play defense, including 7 sacks against Packer quarterback Brett Favre last week. What does that mean for the Giants? Well, Giant coach Dan Reeves said yesterday there'll be more pressure on the beleaguered and struggling quarterback Dave Brown today than at any point since he's been here, because he'll be forced to call audibles at the line of scrimmage, something the Giants have not done up to this point. As far as the weather is concerned, the Giants were hoping for wet weather like they had in beating the Jets last week. They're not going to get their wish. It's dry and the field's in excellent condition. That's the story here. Right now, let's send you down to Jacksonville and Kenny Aldo.
Thanks, Dick. 108 degrees on the field for the first ever regular season meeting between the NFL's expansion cousins of a year ago. Now, the Panthers have already had the upper hand on the Jaguars 3 times, dating back to October of 1993, when Carolina was awarded their franchise 35 days before Jacksonville. The Panthers then won the coin flip for the #1 pick in the 1995 draft, and they defeated the Jaguars in the Hall of Fame game last year, 20-14. Now, starting at quarterback once again for Carolina will be the former Jacksonville Jaguar Steve Berline. In relief of the injured Kerry Collins, Berline started 6 games for the Jacksonville Jaguars a year ago. Let's keep it now in the state of Florida and head southwest to Tampa. And Sam Rosen.
Thanks, Kenny. 3 weeks ago, these two teams met in Pontiac, Michigan, and the Lions beat the Bucs 21-6. But right now, the Lions are in a bit of disarray. On Friday, they signed their second first-round draft pick, Jeff Hardings, which means they had to free up some room under the salary cap, so they cut their starting middle linebacker, Michael Brooks. That means Pepper Johnson, who hasn't played all that much, will get the start this afternoon. More injury problems for the Lions on the outside. Antonio London is inactive. He's got a shoulder injury. So Tom Beer, who used to be a fullback, will get his first NFL start. Talk about injuries. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who've yet to win a game this season, have a lot of them. They're missing their starting left tackle and left guard. They've had to rebuild the left side of their offensive line. There's an interconference matchup going on in Baltimore. For that, let's go to Mike Breen.
Sam, the return of the NFL to the city of Baltimore continues. Ravens with their second home game of the season, hosting the New Orleans Saints, a team desperate for a win, and it's not going to be easy. Saints are all banged up, missing 4 key players, 2 on defense, Ronaldo Turnbull and Rufus Porter. Ray Zeller's on offense, and then J.J. McCleskey, one of the better special teamers in the NFL, he's also out. As for the Ravens, coming off a bye week, a bit healthier, but still some problems on the right side of the defense. Anthony Pleasant is out. Mike Frederick will take his place. Linebacker Mike Caldwell also will not play. Gerald Williams takes his place. And at right cornerback, Donnie Brady, his first NFL start for Isaac Booth, who's been struggling. You can count on the Saints going to that side throughout the game. Now let's go back to James Brown.
All right, Mike, doubleheader Sunday here. Most of you later on will see Atlanta at San Francisco. Green Bay will take on Seattle. Tony Banks will lead the Rams against Arizona. That will be coming later today. 8 teams have gone to backup quarterbacks as of today. 4 of them will be in our later games. One starter, Steve Young, feels he can play, wants to play, but is Gerbach getting the call? Why?
I think why is because we're starting another divorce. We talked about a divorce earlier. Now we have one with Steve Young. He's going back out there, trying to get back out there to play this week. They won't let him play. The problem that they have there is now Bill Walsh steps in. He wants to try to change the offense. Another thing that they got going on is Harris Barton is sore. They have Brent Jones out. They're having problems there.
This is a Fox Sports presentation. So you had your stuffing of turkey, and now you're starving for some pigskin. Well, let's get going with some crucial Week 14 clashes right here on the one and only NFL on Fox. Out west, the Niners KC is never easy.
This is our house!
Especially since the Chiefs got their own playoff war.
We are the Kansas City Chiefs!
The Rams slammed to the Capitol to skirmish with the Skins. In politics, last week's debacle in D.C. has sparked a new lobby group. Yeah, it's called the Band of Boneheads movement. Lately, Coach Ditka's been clashing with his conscience.
I'm probably the wrong guy for this job, I'll say that. I will be here. I intend to be here.
Should I stay or should I go? Today, his Saints hit Carolina as the Panthers try to roar back into the wild card chase.
Now we got to seize the opportunity.
This one promises to be an air show as the Flingin' Falcons face the Slingin' Seahawks. Chris's club has got their bark back. Well, in Seattle, old man Warren is still beating up on Father Time. The Bucks versus Giants in a game that has meaning? That's right. Hey, Tampa's solid on the ground, but look out. Big Blues D can whack you with their wrecking crew. Now, live from the Fox Television Center in Hollywood, four guys who've had plenty of dessert, but who are still sweet to each other. It's the one and only Fox NFL Sunday.
Well, with just 4 weeks remaining in the holiday season, the NFL remains crowded with teams shopping for a playoff berth. Today on Fox, the NFL's one sure thing. The San Francisco 49ers face their most difficult, the Chiefs in Kansas City. Later on, this season's two biggest surprises, the Buccaneers and the Giants, square off at the Meadowlands. And hello again, everyone. I'm James Brown with my hand movement that they're mimicking as I welcome you to Fox NFL Sunday. Joining me, as we welcome you, Ronnie, Howie, and Terry. You know, you guys are all so big with everything going. Howie with the movies, you raising millions for charity. Horses with world championship titles. What about Ronnie?
Ronnie? Ronnie's on the cover. Frosted Flakes.
Frosted Wheaties.
Honey toasted.
Honey toasted.
Oh, yeah, Wheaties, yeah. Honey, look at this.
That's honey frosted.
It should have been, well, yeah.
Oh,
not honey toasted, huh?
I've been toasted a couple of times. By you. I was toasted by you.
Oh, you're bad with that toasted.
Right, yeah.
That's sneaky, man. You're sneaky.
You're bad with that toasted remark. You know that. All right, folks, when you get to Thanksgiving weekend, it's time to focus in on the playoff picture, and there's a lot at stake today. First off, San Francisco can clinch a first-round bye with the win against Kansas City. Now, speaking of the Chiefs, they can clinch a playoff spot with the win over the Niners, as well as losses by New England and Miami. And a Denver win against San Diego tonight puts the Broncos in the playoffs. But with 16 out of 30 teams within 3 games of each other, the playoff picture is far from complete. Now let's turn to the respective conferences. In the AFC division races, the Jets lead the East. Pittsburgh has the tiebreaker. That's right. Pittsburgh has a tiebreaker over Jacksonville. And of course, Denver leads the West. So that means Kansas City is at the top of the wild card race. Jacksonville has the next spot. Miami and New England, who are tied for the final spot, play each other the final week of the season in Miami. And Tennessee's Thanksgiving Day win over Dallas keeps the Oilers very much in the AFC wildcard race. Now, in the NFC, the surprising Giants atop the NFC East. Green Bay leads the Central, but travels to Minnesota Monday night, and you know how much difficulty they've had there. They've not won there under head coach Mike Holmgren. And as you know, San Francisco has won the West. All right, the wild card race shapes up this way. Minnesota and Tampa Bay are in the driver's seat, but both are very much alive in the Central race. After that, Washington will get the 3rd spot, but Detroit, which has won 3 straight, is just 1/2 game back, with Carolina, Philadelphia, and even Dallas all still with the shot. Well, with all that happening, you're probably not going anywhere for a while, so let's get to our Snickers Fox Watch. As you saw, San Francisco is looking to clinch a first-round bye today, while a Chiefs win with some help could put them in the playoffs. Pat Summerall and John Madden are at Arrowhead Stadium, and good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, JB. It's 43 degrees, overcast, right now some light rain, but that's supposed to be over by the time the game starts, so that shouldn't be a factor. Injuries, well, the 49ers will welcome back Tim McDonald, who's missed a couple of games with a bad foot. For the Kansas City Chiefs, Kimball Anders, their fullback, is out with an injured ankle. And a lot of people have been asking about Jerry Rice, the great Jerry Rice. And if yesterday at practice was any indication, he'll match his target date of December the 15th. That's when he says he'll be back. This is just a few moments ago before the game here at Arrowhead. So he looks pretty good, and indeed it looks like he might make it. Now, as far as this game today, it's one of those games, we think at least, that'll be won in the trenches.
Yeah, and I love that kind of football because it usually is won in the trenches where, you know, which line is going to dominate the other line. And when you look at this matchup here today, we have two good lines generally, but specifically inside we have a great matchup because the strength of the Kansas City offensive line is their three inside guys. Wilt Shields at right guard, Tim Grunhard to center, Dave Zott. This is the strength of their offensive line. Now, if you look at the 49ers, the strength of their defense are these two defensive tackles, Bryant Young, Dana Stubblefield. So what we have here is, you know, these three guys against these two guys in the middle, and who wins that battle is going to go a long ways in who wins the game today.
That is the battle we'll be watching. Now let's send you to Washington and Paul Kennedy.
Thanks so much, Pat. As the Rams arrive in Washington for the first time in 10 years, as you can see, there is rain in the forecast. Redskins fans concerned that their team might hit the wall as they did a year ago when they faded in the second half of the season. It was at this spot last Sunday night that Gus Frerotte literally hit the wall. The Redskin quarterback attempting the first ever Jack Kent Cooke Stadium lead came up a bit short. Jammed his neck. He is healthy. Will start for the Skins today. Their more conventional ramming speed will come out of fullback Larry Bowie, who is healthy again after ankle problems, and Terry Allen. St. Louis has dropped 8 in a row. It's the Redskins and the Rams as we go on to Charlotte. Here's Tom Brenneman.
Paul, thank you. The Saints and the Panthers today in Charlotte, and another quarterback for Mike Ditka. In fact, the Saints have served up more quarterbacks already this season than a bartender does hurricanes at Pat O'Brien. Take a look at this. It started with Heath Schuler, went on to Danny Werfel, Doug Nussmeier, and now Billy Joe Hobart, the starter today, trying to cut down on turnovers, which have killed the Saints all year. And JB, by comparison, the Saints have used more quarterbacks this season than there have been head basketball coaches at the University of North Carolina in the last 54 years.
And we know there haven't been many of those. Only the second change. All right, folks, for those of you not getting an early game, you'll see either the NFC East leading Giants hosting the Buccaneers or Atlanta at Seattle as we come back inside to the Fox Television Center. Howie, so much has been talked about the Washington Redskins. A lot of young offensive talent still needing some maturity, maybe some veteran leadership needed here and there. But are the Redskins ready for primetime postseason play?
Well, they haven't shown that as of yet, JB. You know, they need to develop a consistent running game to take the pressure off the quarterback. It seems like it's an old story in the NFL. Everyone seems to need to run the football to protect their quarterback, and today's no different. They expect them to run at Kevin Carter. Bowie being back at fullback is a big key. The Redskins need a dominant defensive lineman. They do not have one. You have to have one. You look at San Francisco, they've got 4. They've got 4 guys that get after the quarterback. Over 250 sacks on the defensive end position for the San Francisco 49ers. They don't have anybody. They rely solely on those cornerbacks and the safety rolling up. St. Louis team is a disappointment. Unlike the New Orleans team that Mike Ditka inherited, this team has some talent. They have not realized that talent.
Yeah, but you got to look at Bud Carson, the defensive coordinator. He will make some problems for Gus Frerotte at the quarterback spot. I know for a fact that he's going to do a lot of blitzing. He's going to come after Gus Frerotte and make him make good decisions with the football. On the other hand, Gus Frerotte on third down, they have to get the ball to Jamie Asher. Now that Leslie Shepard's out of the game, Terry, it's very difficult for this football team to move the ball.
Well, after the Beavis and Butthead act that we saw the other night, Washington could, well, you can always go back, listen, and look at one game a year and say, this cost us a playoff. You can almost always do that. You can't make bonehead mistakes like the quarterback made. Bud Carson will drive him crazy today. Henry Eller to the post. You beat Bud Carson's defense by going deep.
Howie also made a point that Washington's defense doesn't really give them good field position very often either.
No.
All right, folks, here's a look at what's happening around the NFL. Bobby Beathard is frustrated in San Diego. Last year, he forced out Bobby Ross, his head coach, and since appearing in Super Bowl 29, the Chargers are a sub-500 team. Now, the hottest NFL rumor last week was that Beathard was unhappy with his new coach, Kevin Gilbride, and was considering the general manager spot in Seattle. Now, when asked by Fox about the rumor, Beathard said, quote, "The way this season is going, who would want me? And if things keep up, I could be out of work and living next to Howie Long in Montana."
Did he give you one of them categorically deny type things?
Didn't say categorical because you don't like that.
I can't spell it, but I like it.
All right, folks. And on Tuesday, Miami's Jimmy Johnson will meet with troubled running back Lawrence Phillips. Now, if Jimmy Johnson likes what he hears, Phillips could become a Dolphin immediately, signing for the league minimum, which in his case would be less than $10,000 per game. Well, we've just gotten things started going here. Here's a look at what else is on tap for today's show.
Today on the one and only Fox NFL Sunday.
Throughout his stormy NFL career, Andre Rison, I'm talking about Spider-Man, has had problems wherever he goes. Now, with a new nickname and team, Andre's back, weaving his way through defenses. Pam Oliver spins a tale or two with the Chiefs' superhero receiver. And, hey, seeing a barber can be a little scary. Imagine how two guys named Tiki and Rondé feel. The Barber twins have been teammates their entire lives. Now they're on opposite sides for the first time. One question, who's mom gonna root for? So, pull up a chair and sit still. It's time to meet the Barbers. Then.
Next on Fox NFL Sunday.
You see them strutting their stuff every Sunday. But hey, these women have a lot more going on. When the cheering stops, there's another world to the sirens of the sidelines. Stay tuned as we expose the secret life of the NFL cheerleader. Coming up, coming at you.
On the Fox NFL Sunday.